Hello everyone, in this video tutorial I'll show you how to make your own deepfake voice. The idea here is that you type in some information, hello there maybe, and then you click on a button and then the machine learning algorithm speaks it out for you, right? Now there are different available like websites that can do this, one of which is the Google, which is based on Google engine, and there are different engines nowadays which converts the text to speech, right? But then the problem with these techniques that this speech or the audio file is not your voice. It is basically maybe a machine voice which sounds ugly, or maybe Google's voice, right? In this video, I'll show you how to make this voice yours. So you type in some information and then the computer speaks out in your own voice or someone else's voice, right? In order to do this in previous techniques, how would you do that? You need to collect like enormous amount of data, and this data is basically a speech voice, right? Speech that of you speaking for like long hours, and then you feed these speech data to a machine learning algorithm along with their text, so that the machine learning understands these words. This is how you say it, because different people have different like I don't know, ways or different accents, right? But this method is quite expensive because you need to gather up like a lot of information, plus you have to train this model for like a couple of hours, or even not just a couple of hours, long hours, or even days for a specific person, right? So that's why this is not adapted in this video. Before I show you this technique, I would like to give credits to these guys, because these guys are the developer of this technique, which is based on something called transfer learning. And the idea here is that you don't have to train a model from scratch. They train a model for you, a machine learning model for you, and then you can just give this machine learning model a sample of your voice, just 10 seconds of your voice, and then the machine learning model extracts some important features, and then later on you give it some text and the machine will speaks out in your own voice, which is awesome, right? So these guys, they have their own Colab codes. They have their own Python code on their GitHub page, but their code is not that, I mean, it's basically complicated and doesn't work straightforward. So I had to work it out to make sure that it works. The first thing you do is you open up this Colab link, and this this Colab IPyNP file, and I include it in the description below. And then you click on this connect. Once you click on this connect, make sure that you're connected to a GPU, not a CPU. How do you do that? Click runtime, change runtime type, and make sure this is a GPU, and click save. And yeah, that's it. Next, you have to start executing these set of codes, right? The first one is cloning the get respiratory. This is cloning the codes from this guy. So again, I would like to give credits to this guy, Quarantine J, right? Because that's his code, okay? So that's the first step. You're cloning the code to your to this Google Colab worksheet. And once you do that, you can see that here you have this real-time voice cloning. So all his codes are here, including all the Py files and so on. The second thing is changing the directory to access these lines of code. And then you install some dependencies, and you don't have to learn, or you don't have to know any of this. Just go ahead and just follow these steps. You will be able to eventually generate your own voice, right? Generate any voice that you want. And after you install this, there is this download the dataset, and this is including the pre-trained model. So I'm not going to train from scratch. I'm just going to load their pre-trained model, right? Which is previously trained model, okay? And you go ahead and click here. I'm just going to pause this to skip this time. All right, so after you finish finish installing the dependencies and finish downloading the dataset, you go ahead and execute this code, which is recording the audio from browser, because you will be feeding this machine learning model with a voice recorded from the website, from the browser, okay? From this browser, okay? So you go ahead and do that, and then this is just skip this part, and then you go ahead and install this. And what is this? The idea is that when I tried to use this kind of a piece of code, that didn't work, because they built the machine learning model using a TensorFlow, which is an older TensorFlow version, and I had to try different versions up until I found that this 1.14 is perfectly working with their pre-trained model, because Colab, the default thing when you launch it, it will just, I think, connect to the most recent TensorFlow, which is 2.0. Okay, that's why it doesn't work 2.0 in this case, and I had to like lower it down to 1.14. And after you do this, this is the part where you get the pre-trained model, because you download it. Now you have to load the pre-trained model so that you can make these generations. I'll just pause that. Once this is done, what you can do here now, this is the code for the recording. So you click here, and then it will tell you click start recording, and then you would see that in here I said that start record for 20 seconds and record 20. So in this case I'm feeding it with 20 seconds, but I can feed it with only 10 seconds. Okay, and then once I click the start recording, okay, let me just compile this again. So once I click start recording, I have to speak normally for 10 seconds, and then let's see what happens. Alright, so this is the video, and now I'm just speaking some information. Now you're recording for 10 seconds. This is being said in my own voice and all of this information, and now it's getting all the information that I'm feeding it. You can see that the audio is completed and initializing the TensorFlow board, and hopefully after this is done, okay, it's still trying to finish this part. Sorry about that. Okay, good. So now this audio file is what? This is my voice, but it will say something that I didn't say. So it will say the information written here. So it will basically say this information. This is being said in my own voice, and what the computer has learned to do an impression of me, right? So it will say this kind of sentence, right? So that's hopefully what we'll hear. Let's hear this together. Okay, so that's actually good. Obviously, you can try this with more time. So you record maybe 20 seconds, and actually, after testing this for a few times, if I feed it with a longer time or a longer like audio speech, then it performs better. So yeah, that's it. That's it for this video tutorial. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See ya.